Being good with money in your 20s isn't about spending as little as possible. It's about knowing what's actually worth paying for. So I want to walk you through 4 things that I've spent money on in my 20s that gave me back way more than they cost. And I'll say this up front. None of these are about how you should buy a nice mattress or a nice pair of shoes. While that advice is true, you've heard that plenty of times. This list is different. My name's Obi, and I've been studying personal finance for over a decade and worked in asset management for years. And here's something I've noticed. So much advice out there is about what to cut, what to spend less on, what to cancel. What people don't always tell you is about the good things to spend money on. That's what this video is about. And the last one is the most valuable and transformative thing on the list, so make sure you stick around for that. The first one is TSA PreCheck. It's less than $90 for 5 years. Global Entry costs a little bit more, but it covers you for international trips. I've lost count at how many times I've walked into an airport, seen the general security line super backed up, and then looked over at the PreCheck line, and there's maybe a 5 or 10 minute wait, if that sometimes. Your laptop stays in your bag, your liquids stay in your bag, and the line just moves. Last summer, my wife and I were flying out of Chicago, and with typical Chicago traffic, we were running behind. And I hate running behind. But we got through security fast, ran to our gate, and made our flight. Without PreCheck, those couple of minutes that it took to get through security could have been over 30 minutes or more. And one more thing worth knowing. A lot of travel cards will reimburse the fee for you, which is how I prefer to get it. Your 20s are a great time to travel and explore. Having something like PreCheck or Global Entry not only gives you peace of mind, but it can also save you an incredible amount of time over the years. And it may even save you from missing a flight. Now, this next one shows up on a lot of those waste of money lists, and I don't think those lists are wrong, I just think that they're incomplete when it comes to this. What I'm talking about is a gym membership. I want to be clear about what I mean, because I'm not talking about some expensive, lavish membership with a smoothie bar and a cold plunge. I'm talking about an affordable gym that is genuinely convenient to your life, close to where you work or close to where you live. Here's why that one detail matters so much. When I worked in corporate America, I used a company benefit that got me a gym membership for around $24 a month. The gym I picked was about 5 minutes from the office and about 15 minutes from where I was living. And because it was close, it was much easier to go to. Before work, after a long day, it didn't matter. I could pop in and get a lift in. I've also had a gym membership that was almost 25 minutes from where I was living, and I barely went. Same intention, completely different result. So I'd actually argue that it's worth paying more for a gym that's convenient and you'll actually use than paying less for a gym that's further away and never gets used. Now, there are diminishing returns here. At some point, you're just paying for nicer amenities and things you probably don't even use. Because when you're comparing gyms, don't just compare the price. Compare how likely you are to actually walk in the door, because the cheapest membership you never use is a waste of money. A slightly more expensive one that you actually go to isn't. That's an investment. You're paying now so that you can live healthier for longer. And the cheapest version of a health problem is the one you never end up having. And the third one is something that I definitely underestimated, but absolutely believe in now. And that's kitchen equipment that makes cooking healthy food easy and convenient. I've had a rice cooker for years. I buy rice in bulk from Costco, spend a couple of minutes washing it, put it in, press a button, walk away, and come back to food that's ready to eat. I also have a Ninja Foodi. It's an air fryer, a pressure cooker, it bakes. It does several things in one, and the cleanup is simple, which matters more than people realize, because cleanup is often the thing that kills home cooking before it ever has a chance to become a habit. When you sum up the cost of my appliances, it's not the cheapest, but between what I've saved by eating at home and what it's done for how I actually eat, it's more than paid for itself. Now, not every kitchen gadget is worth it. Plenty of them sit in the cabinet and collect dust. The ones worth buying are the ones you know you'll use, that save you time and that make it easier to eat healthier, because eating out constantly usually isn't a discipline problem, it's a friction problem. And these purchases take away a lot of that friction. And if you found this list helpful so far, I write about ideas like this every other week in my newsletter. It's free, and the link is in the description if you want to check it out. The fourth one is education. Not just formal education. I'm talking about books, courses, coaching, training, anything where you're paying for knowledge instead of collecting it the slow way. I've bought books that changed my marriage, my faith, my finances, my entire life. Lessons that would have taken me 30 or 40 years to figure out on my own, learned in a couple of weeks. I've also spent money to be around people who are further ahead than me and I could learn from. Dinners, events, showing up in rooms that cost money to be in. And the growth that's come from it has been astounding. And this is honestly an area that I'm still learning. The more I lean into it, the more of a believer I become. And I'll be real with you, sometimes the free route is the right one. Sometimes figuring it out yourself is exactly what you need to do. But other times, someone has already paid the price of the lesson. They've made the mistake, taken the hit, and learned what you need to know. And they're willing to hand it to you for a fraction of what it cost them. That's what you're buying. Not just information, but time. And that's really the thread through all four of these. Being good with money was never about spending as little as possible. It's about knowing what's actually worth paying for. If some spending is worth it, the next question is where cutting goes too far. That's exactly what the video on the screen is about, and it's a mistake I see people make constantly once they start getting serious about money. If this video helped, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.